Welcome to Slip and the Man, where we bring you the biggest topics in news, along with our jokes, along with our thoughts, along with our notes, opinions, outlook, viewpoints, and beliefs. It's been a little bit, my people. How you feeling, Mitch?
Feeling great. A little bit of a midweek slip in the man. A little
A
we're
little
slipping up a little bit.
midweek
We're slipping up
juicer.
on our schedule a little bit, but that's all right.
It's been a lot going on. Last week I was in Charlotte with you. Had ourselves a good old time on the funny bus.
Oh, what that
Had
funny bus was
ourselves
a
a
hell
little
of a
bit of
time.
Top Golf. Remind me who won in Top Golf?
I did the first round.
Oh, okay. First round. Who won the second round?
Papa,
Pop. If I beat you the second round?
you did. But
Okay, okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to
but I
hear.
still hit it the furthest every time, so it don't matter.
You hit it the furthest.
Yeah,
That's all right. That's all right. It was a lot of fun. We'll get back in there. My back is hurting because of that. I
yeah.
think it has to be because of the damn um, Top Golf because my back has not felt like this ever. Am I
It's,
just old? Is this what happens when you just become washed?
I mean, golf swings or even baseball swings. I know you know with baseball or live, you get a little batting practice, you know, little session in, and it actually does a number on you. You don't realize it until you feel it the next day. It's like this that twisting motion
Mm-hmm.
and your back, like especially with golf, and you have a stiff stance, my man. You have a
Ah,
nice stiff stance. So your back and that twisting's
I mean,
probably
that
gonna
had to
help.
be it, right? That had to be it. I remember I went to a chiropractor. Um, I think I went to him in 2019, right? I went to chiropractor in 2019, and he's like feeling around. He's like, "Yo, what happened to your back?" I'm like, "I played baseball." Oh, okay, and continued to adjust. But like the fact that he was so adamant and so shocked by how crazy my back was absolutely worrisome. Fuck you, giggities. Anyway, we got a lot to get into today. Um,
Sure do.
we got a lot of sports coming up, and it's exciting. Do you feel that feeling?
I
Do you
do.
feel that?
I really feel it. It's that time of
That's
year, man.
football, baby.
It's the fall. The fall is almost a few weeks away, and you know when football starts, especially college football, it's
Hmm.
about to get real.
Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious, college football just starts whenever they want,
Yeah, they do.
and it absolutely makes no sense. But apparently, they started this past week and actually had, um,
A
teams
conference
like
game.
Nebraska playing.
Yeah, I mean that's
I'm
it's
not saying
wild.
Nebraska is such a big school or like they're a big school, but they aren't the school they were in the early 2000s. But the fact that they're playing in like week zero is absolutely surprising.
Yeah, Power Five team already
Hmm.
playing. Week before the kickoff game, like that Chick-fil-A kickoff game is kind of that Saturday with what's actually gonna be Alabama and Miami, and then the Miami and or at the Georgia and Clemson game. Those when that starts is kind of when I feel that's when college football starts when those games are happening. So
And
that
we got
is
a monster slate coming up already. With, I mean, we have a 3 versus 5 matchup between UGA and Clemson on the first week.
yeah.
Oh my giggities.
Oh, giggities.
Giggities first gets cussed out and then he gets thanked with a 10 bomb.
Scared him. You scared him, man.
Goodness gracious, the big
Big
dog.
dog. The big dog.
Let's get back to this big dog matchup though. Clemson and UGA. UGA doesn't know who their starting QB is. Clemson just lost their quarterback number 1 overall pick.
That's right.
If you were just to think, because this is a national title preview,
Yeah,
it could be.
it could be.
Who do you take out of just name alone in what they've done over the past couple of years?
I got to go with Clemson. I just think that with Dabo, I can't bet against him, and I feel like he'll have his guys prepared no matter what. They still have always get the defensive recruits, even if they keep losing. It's just like they're the next, Alabama. They just keep getting those recruits year in and year out. Every year that or they replace them, and they're just as good. It's just the rotation, just keep them in, and it's just the Dukes and the Kentucky's of basketball. Same thing. They just built that program up where they just keep on getting the recruits that are 5-star recruits, and there's just nothing you can do.
Now, wait a second. UGA gets their recruits as well. What from the outside perspective? Because this is a very personal thing with me. I'm clearly a UGA fan. UGA gets those recruits. What about UGA from your outside the SEC perspective makes you feel that they wouldn't beat a team?
I just don't think they. They will get the recruits. They're SEC obviously, so you're still gonna. And they're Georgia. They are in the college football playoff talk on the at least seems at least top 10 every year preseason. It's just with Clemson. It's just I look at a coach too. The coaches. You have of course Saban's the best college football coach in the game right now. Dabo Swinney is the next up and comer. He's proved himself and consistent every year. They're
1A and 1B.
Yeah, literally. And I just think I pretty much with my pick on that is I just kind of look at the coach mainly, the coaching, the preparedness that goes into the game, to have the guys prepared. They've been there before. He knows it's a big game because you got to look at Clemson too. Clemson needs to win this game because they have a weaker conference too. And if they don't win the ACC, it's tough for them.
They're in a lot of trouble. Well, if they could win this game, and if they don't win the ACC, they're in big trouble.
Exactly. It just puts a lot more pressure on them. So that's another reason I think I know Dabo knows that. So I think that's why they're going to be ready and they're going to.
Yeah, UGA has more of a chance of losing this game and still making it to the playoffs rather than Clemson losing this game and making it into the playoffs. Because I know they talk about the progression throughout the year. However, they're going to have to look back at this initial game and be like, damn. Clemson has a lot more to lose than UGA.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
My worry about this, and this has been my worry about UGA consistently, is that they have a tough time winning these games. Now, they've been able to do all right. They've been able to beat Notre Dame over the past couple seasons. Oh my.
Man.
Coach Parker with a 10 bomb. They've been able to, even if you go back to the time when UGA was in the national championship game, they were able to beat Oklahoma in those playoffs. Those are big wins. But for this team, it's a little bit different. They don't have a bona fide starter at quarterback. They have JT Daniels, who they say they're going to start. And he did well towards the end of that season, last season. But those weren't against teams like Clemson. I'm worried as a UGA fan if this is the game where they sputter, and this is a game where they can win and it boosts them to the playoffs. Because if you win this game, that's a huge confidence booster to walk into anybody's house in the SEC and say, hey, I'm a good team. But this is also, if they lose this game, that could derail the whole season, which is that's what makes these kinds of games early in the season so crazy, because they mean so much.
Exactly. And it's just like you said, it can go any direction. It can go, you said, jump starts their season. It gives them a confidence booster and sets them off to a top 4 maintainment of the whole season of being a college football playoff contender and having a chance to go to the national championship. And
Yeah.
and then, like I said, it's just that big of a game that people like. They look at it like, oh, it's two great teams playing, but I don't think people look at it that much into it as in how much impact it's really going to affect on both teams, on the pressure that it puts on them for the rest of the season.
Who is your favorite? Because I know you're an ACC guy. Is Clemson your favorite coming out of there?
Yeah, I mean, until someone else proves me wrong, I'm always going to go with Clemson. Until, like, maybe after the year, I'll have a different option, like maybe a dark horse or someone who can. But as of right now, and as of last season ended, I'm going to go with Clemson.
Because you're a pick guy. You see all of the ACC. Who are some of the ACC people who you think are going to be competitive as well?
North Carolina, UNC.
Really?
Yeah, their quarterback. They have a really good quarterback. And they always play tough. They're a tough team.
Hey, they got my guy Mac Brown, right?
That's right. You got Mac Brown. Got a good coach there too. Miami, of course. They are always, ever since their last national spotlight, it's like there's always hope for Miami to be there in the top of the nation again, because they're just such a history.
It's been so unfounded that Miami is being talked about as that team that's supposed to rise to that level of being a national championship contender. They haven't shown anything over the past 20 years that makes you feel that they'd actually be a national contender.
Yeah.
But they still get talked about it like that. It's crazy. It's just crazy how their brand is that damn strong.
Yeah.
That they haven't shown anything over the past 20 years that makes you think that they're ready to be in that contention. Because you put them, if you compare them to a team like UGA, you compare them to a team like Clemson, Alabama, Auburn, Oklahoma, Ohio State. They aren't in the same realm of football program anymore. They just aren't.
No.
But they consistently get talked about as if they are.
And they get hyped up. And I think my theory on it is, I think that they knew how exciting that time was, that everyone has that hope that it's going to be that again and be a part of that hype once again. They wanted to happen.
They're not even getting the recruits.
No, and that's the crazy thing. You'd think with that brand that they would get the recruits.
Yeah.
Man, those teams are just so exciting to watch, and those are one of the best 30 for 30s that ESPN has to offer. Is the U, and I mean they have three 30 for 30s based on them. That's insane.
Some phenomenal 30 for 30s.
Yes, absolutely.
But talking about the U, they play Alabama. Good luck.
Exactly. I mean, no one wants to face them the first game of the year. Absolutely not. And that's another thing with them. That game, of course, if they lose that one, it's the same kind of thing with Georgia, but they're just not as good of a team as Georgia, that I think that it will derail them. I think that even losing can be a confidence booster. Say they lose, Alabama's about a 3-touchdown favorite. If they stay within a touchdown, or if they don't get blown out, that could be a confidence booster for them. In that sense, that they could make a run. Because the ACC Coastal is the weakest side of the division. And
I find it tough to label any loss as good.
I'm not saying that it's good. It's just you can take pieces of a loss and make it a win.
Like if you are on the college football playoff committee and you see Miami lose by like 8 points to Alabama in a game where they kind of come back after getting blown out early, are you looking at that and saying, oh, that's a team that can possibly be in the playoffs? Or are you looking at that team as differently?
I think that affects the decision.
In
That
a good or
in a
of
positive
course it
way.
affects the
In a
decision
positive way, yeah,
in a
because
positive way.
yeah, I believe it does. If of course they have to go on, make the ACC championship, and say they beat Clemson in an ACC championship, I think you have to put them in. But I still think that would be a tough decision for them to put them in with them winning,
Hmm.
because I think Clemson right now with the ACC, if they're not in, it'd be tough for another ACC team if they won the conference championship to actually make it. If it with the current four
For
team format.
Miami to lose to Alabama and make the playoffs, they would have to be a very close game, as we just talked about, and they have to win the ACC.
Yes.
Meaning they have to win the ACC championship.
And win the rest.
Not just their division. They have to win out.
Yep.
Otherwise, they're going to let a Pac-12 team get in.
Exactly, and that's what's going to happen. If that scenario happens, if Clemson gets knocked out, I don't see a team that only has one loss or undefeated team other than Clemson win that ACC, which would put Pac-12 in play.
Because if we realistically look at the landscape of the college football playoff, because there's still only 4 teams. One SEC team is always going to get in, and it's probably going to be the team that won the SEC. I think there's always going to be a Big Ten team that's going to get in. And I think those other 2 spots are being fought between
Big 12.
The Big 12, the Pac-12, and the ACC.
Yeah.
Because the ACC is so top heavy. Now, we can have a discussion about, is the SEC actually top heavy as well? Now, I think they have more teams at the top. And they still have that pedigree that's like, okay, yeah, if you win the SEC, you're going to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
But the only what's this song here? What's going on here?
I have no idea.
Is this Jason Derulo?
I have no idea. Let's see.
I'm sorry, it threw me off. Oh my god.
Jason Derulo, and now I know it gets slips all.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, essentially there's always 3 conferences fighting for those 2 spots. And that's just what's going to happen. I'm sorry, I threw that off, didn't I?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I mean, is that a fair assessment? I mean, I may sound very Homer, very SEC friendly, which I am. I'm not scared to express my bias, but I think that's realistic looking at the ACC, Pac-12, and Big 12.
Yeah,
Is that what they are now?
The Pac-12.
No, there's a Pac-12, a Big 10, and a Big 12.
Big 12, yeah, Big 12 and
Okay.
Big 10.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, SEC down to, like you said, down even to the middle. If they would win, they would still be clear shot into the playoff, and that's because they just have such a. And going forward here in 2 years, is it next year or 2 years? They're planning on the Texas and Oklahoma move now. I'm not sure if they have it all set in stone yet, but and then you add them in picture into that conference. It's crazy how beefed up a conference that is. So I think I just wish they expanded it. I know. Actually, did you see the news where one of the presidents that voted against the expansion was West Virginia University's president? Was the one that actually voted no.
That makes sense. Why? Because they just went over to they just went over to the Big 12. And so let's put this on a poll. Who is the best conference? Because I know I'm sounding like a homer, but I want to make sure that y'all know.
This should be
Put this on a poll. Who is the best conference? But of course, West Virginia. West Virginia is like, man, we just worked really hard to get out of the Big East and go into the Big 12, and now they're like, damn, I don't want them to leave, even though they consistently get their ass whooped in the Big 12.
Oh no, I said that the actual playoff expansion, the more teams, like the playoff format.
You're talking about West Virginia's bum ass voted against playoff expansion?
Yes.
They get into the playoffs even with expansion.
I know. I don't know why they voted against that, because that's what I want to see, because that opens up so many possibilities, and it'd be more exciting, in my opinion, to have that more games going on. Just the intensity of those games would be insane.
I just don't know what to think.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
But, West Virginia, just full of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves.
They really should. I mean, I met the president before. He's a great guy. I met him before at a bar.
I'm sure he's a fine guy. He's an idiot.
How about that?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I just don't know. I just don't know. I mean, West Virginia. Who are they? Big West Virginia. That has me flustered and upset right now.
It's almost heaven. Oh, the poll is in.
SEC.
Yeah, easy.
That's what I'm talking about. Anyway.
Knew that was coming.
Let me go ahead and put this other one up as well.
This really intensifies it too. Waiting on.
I mean, goodness gracious.
What happened there? You good?
Content doesn't meet the guidelines. What?
Uh-oh. What are you putting up here now? What are you trying to do?
I say, who the hell is West Virginia? I spelled vagina. Oops.
Wow, that is great.
Start hole.
What? I didn't know they.
They're like, nah, slut. Slut. You can't say that. You can't say that.
What a slip up.
Goodness gracious, man. What happened there?
Ooh.
That was a slip up of accuracy.
He went down a very, very slippery slope.
Oh, goodness. Anyway.
Well, that's great.
Let's talk about the Big Ten. Ohio State lost their quarterback, lost a couple running backs, but they are by far the perennial best team in the best team in the Big Ten. Are they your favorite this year?
I still lean with him for now, yes. But I'm not as confident as saying it as previous years, especially with a new quarterback going to be starting this year. So we'll see. But I don't know.
I was talking to our man Venom the other day, and that's really who our college football expert is.
It really is.
He had a hot take, and I hope that he doesn't mind me saying this. He had a hot take that Wisconsin was going to win the Big Ten. What are your thoughts about that? Ooh. I love the hot take.
I love it.
I thought it was a well-proportioned hot take that was definitely possible.
I can see it being possible. I just feel like Ohio State isn't as strong as they usually are. It opens up the conference now. I think Wisconsin's always up there. They're always
Hmm.
tough. And, I mean, I honestly haven't done my research on them to know who they all have back. I know Venom probably knows all their starters returning and all that, obviously, if he's making that hot take. But I could see it. I really could. I really think this might be Ohio State's first year they don't win it in a long time. Well, they didn't win it, a couple years ago, too, I think. But, I mean, another team in that conference is Michigan State. Michigan State is just another team that always just gives teams fits in that conference. It's always tough games when when teams are facing Michigan State. So I think Michigan State, Wisconsin. I think Penn State's still rebuilding as well.
Penn State, and this is actually one of our picks of the week that we'll get to later. Penn State is ranked 19th, Wisconsin 12th. In the grand scheme of things, that's not too big.
But are they on there? They are on opposite sides of the conference, right?
I don't know.
I
I
think
honestly don't know enough about the Big Ten.
I believe Penn State
Um,
is on like Ohio State side, and I think Wisconsin's on. I might be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But if that's the case, that could be a matchup right there for the preview for the Big Ten championship, which would be.
mhm.
I think that game is going to be. It's going to be a tight game, I believe. I just don't know.
I think it's going to be an excellent game as well because Penn State always seems to fight pretty hard, and I really like their coach. What's that coach's name? I'm not even going to try to say his name, but I really like the coach. They always seem to
Franklin.
come out with a 9-2. Franklin,
Yeah, I think it's Franklin.
yeah. They always seem to come out with a 9-2, 10-1 record, consistently being good. Penn State is in the East, Wisconsin
Yeah,
is in the
so
West.
that's what I thought.
So they this could be a preview of the Big Ten championship.
Absolutely. And that's just it's big implications on who wins that game because
Uh-huh.
whatever one is going to set that team in that side of
Yep.
extra loss that they're going to really have to
Yep.
kind of win out for the most part to get there.
Yeah, it's gonna be big for them.
Yeah.
And then you also have to think about, but like, are they going to beat each other up? And then is Ohio State just going to come through and just beat everybody else?
That's definitely possible. I mean, Ohio State is another team that just year in and year out, they are almost they're not up to the 1A 1B of the Alabama Clemson, but they are like B. They're right there every year. They're always seem to kind of run the table for the most part. In that they how many does it seem like they always have blowouts in their games? They win big too, and I just feel like
Yeah.
every year that they're just dominant, and they actually make runs in the college football playoffs when they've been in it too. So it's the Big Ten. I think it's just up in the air this year. I just my biggest point on it is I just don't have as much confidence as I usually do in Ohio State this year.
And I definitely don't blame you, but I still think they are the favorite until proven
Exactly.
otherwise.
I would still pick them as my favorite, but
Uh-huh.
I'm not confident in saying that. Like I could be like, oh man, I don't know. I like second
Right.
guess it.
Right. Let's talk about the SEC. Alabama's the favorite until they get proven otherwise. But every year, Alabama always comes up as the favorite. But you always got to be careful for LSU. You always got to be careful for Auburn. You always got to be careful for UGA. You always got to be careful for Florida. Now, Alabama, Auburn, and LSU are on one side. Georgia, Florida on the other side. Florida just lost their QB in Trask. LSU, I don't know. They always have a good defense. They always stick around. They always have a running game. Auburn is another team that can come out and just absolutely play well. They're a team that often gets slept on, but then comes out and wins their division. And that is a tough division to win when you're talking about a team when you have to go through teams like Alabama, LSU, Texas A&M. That's really tough. I think that is a lot tougher than UGA, who they play Auburn every year, but then they also play Florida every year. But otherwise, it's South Carolina, it's Vanderbilt. Those are not scary teams to play.
Is Kentucky on that
They
side
got to
too?
play Missouri,
Is Kentucky over there as well?
Kentucky. Thank you, Tennessee. Those are teams that are like they try to get up, and then it's like no. So UGA, I think, has to be the favorite coming out of that East. But the West, although Alabama is consistently, they have to be the favorite. Um, you cannot sleep on Auburn. You cannot sleep on LSU.
No.
And hell, even Texas A&M were pretty good for a little bit, and they got that man. Oh my goodness, what is his name? I gotta know. I gotta learn my coaches' names. I always forget these guys' names. But the dude that won the national championship at Florida State, he's over there at
Jimbo
Texas
Fisher.
A&M. Jimbo Fisher, thank you.
I cannot remember Jimbo, man. What a name, Jimbo.
It is a hell of a name that I should remember.
Like football. That's
You
that
think his
football
mama
coach's
calls
name.
him Jimbo?
Oh, I think she calls him Jimmy.
The country. And hey, coach, I got Mac Brown right. Anyway, who do you got coming out of the SEC from your outside perspective?
Are we talking about the full out of the
The
championship
full
game?
SEC.
Okay.
Who is that team that's going to be in the playoff that's out of the SEC?
Alabama.
Alabama?
I can't bet against them.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't.
So let's go and mosey on over to the Big 12.
Okay. Mosey on over.
Is Texas going to be good? Is Oklahoma going to continue their good their quality football? Is there any other team in the Big 12 to actually worry about?
Iowa State were pretty good contenders last year. They looked pretty good, which was pretty surprising to me.
Who?
Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't even know Iowa had a state. I mean, goodness gracious, Iowa State. Tell me about Iowa State. That's a deep cut. Talk to me about Iowa State.
Well, honestly, like you said, you didn't even know the state. I just know that they actually in the standings were up towards the top, like in second and third. They never made it to the top like where Oklahoma was, but they were made a run towards the Big 12 championship. Well, the Big 12 doesn't have a championship, do they? They just have the top of the standings.
Yeah, they just have the top of the standings.
That's right. They don't have the East
Same
West.
thing in Pac-12.
Yeah.
And that's what hurts them. That's what hurts the Big 12 and the Pac-12 is that they don't have a championship game.
Yeah,
They're saying that if they would have a championship game, maybe that would help those teams out a little bit more. But right now they don't have it. So you just what that does for them and why they're part of that section that doesn't always have a guaranteed playoff spot is because they're missing out on a game to really solidify their strength of schedule.
Yeah. I've always had
SEC has those games. ACC has those games
Big
when
Ten.
they have another competitor other than
Clemson.
And even the Big Ten has that game.
Yep.
And it really does make for a better show of what can happen. It really boosts that schedule at the end of the season when the college football playoff committee is looking at them and saying, okay, this team was actually able to win this championship. This team was at the top, but like they don't have a championship. And that, although I'm not sure how much credence that gives outside of the SEC, honestly, but it really does matter for how they choose those final playoff spots.
And I think that now it's going to be hard to implement it, but because now Texas and Oklahoma leaving that conference is right now
Mm-hmm.
going to be in shambles. They're kind of scattered around and trying to figure out what's going to happen going forward
Yeah.
for that conference.
Right.
But the Pac-12, at least, they should realize that by now, that they really need to have that game and how important that game is for the playoffs
Mm-hmm.
to be able to be considered. Because
Right.
like you win your actual the whole Pac-12, you're number one in the standings, but then I just think even if you're number one, but then you beat that number two team in that game, just like it impresses the committee. Like, oh, okay, I think they are going to be competitive if we pick them in this. They're worthy
Mm-hmm.
of that spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. Do you even care about the Pac-12? Does anybody care about the Pac-12? Put that on the poll. Does anybody care about the Pac-12? Because I don't care about the Pac-12.
The only time I cared about the Pac-12 was when Mike Leach was the head coach of Washington State. One of the best college coaches, entertaining college coaches out there, especially his press conferences. Mike Leach.
Mike Lee, he's a very entertaining guy, isn't he?
Now he's at Mississippi State now, so
Yeah, he is. And we got to get some of his interviews
oh,
up on
definitely.
and talk about those.
Oh,
Love his interviews. I absolutely wild mind.
one of the best.
But when you think about the Pac-12, you always think about USC. You always think about UCLA, who really
Yeah,
just like
and Oregon as well. Back when they had
Oregon. Oregon was good in the 2010 to 2012 era.
Chip Kelly
but they've
days.
really fallen off more recently to where it's like they had Justin Herbert recently. But even him, he wasn't able to get into the college football playoff.
Yeah. I think Chip Kelly just
Um,
had that. He was building that program and recruiting those guys
Mhm.
that fit his up-tempo, fast-paced
Right.
offense. And so he was able to recruit the guys that were wanting to be part of that. And they have
Yeah.
one of the best recruiting tools out there is their jerseys because they have
Mhm.
that
They got
deal.
Nike.
They have Nike because the CEO is a
The
alum.
CEO went to Oregon.
So,
And
yeah.
so they just get all the Nike gear they
So
want.
that's one of the best recruiting tools you can have right there.
It is a great recruiting tool. And it hasn't worked out for them lately.
No, it has not.
And quite frankly, their uniforms have kind of been ugly recently. They
Wa-
haven't been as fire.
Washington's another team that's they kind of been sneaking around in that Pac-12.
Washington's the only Pac-12 team that's made it into the college football playoff, correct?
I believe so. That
And
might
they
be
made
a
it
question that's
in-
Venom.
They made it in the second year and got their ass whipped by Alabama.
Yeah, and that does not look good.
And it
That
doesn't look good.
conference.
I don't think that it should make that big of a mark on future choices, but it does.
It does. I agree with you there. I don't think it should either because how can you? I don't like relying on the past and living in the past, but it just shows that conference is weak. That's what
Mhm.
it shows. And
Yeah.
then considering for the future, okay, they really are going to have to be just outstanding, one of the best teams, and they look like just one of the best in the country, just like literally
Mhm.
number one. But they would never be ranked number one, probably being from the Pac-12, unless they beat someone like an Alabama or something during a regular season if they matched up.
Yeah.
They'd have to prove themselves to get
and-
there.
You know, why would Alabama do that?
Exactly. It hurts them more by playing them. It's just crazy.
Anyway.
Washington is not the
College
Pac-12.
football is going to be exciting. And I'm really excited to see it.
Me too. Me too.
However, there's also other sports that still go on, and we can't ignore baseball. as we always say, we're both big baseball people. We love paying attention to it. We're in the final month of the season. How did we get here?
I have no idea. It just
I
appeared.
mean, goodness gracious. From a month ago when we first started this, things have completely shaken up.
Sure have.
We have the Yankees who are now in the top wild card spot after being a few games out. We have the Rays continuing to win. We have the White Sox are just waiting for the postseason. And on the other end, when we're talking about the NL, I'm here wondering if the Braves can hold on. Are they going to be able to hold off the Phillies, because the Mets are just completely in shambles? The Dodgers finally took first place in the West
Since April.
and the Giants still are good. And then just like the White Sox in the AL, the Brewers are just hanging around waiting for the postseason as well.
Yeah,
So it's a little bit changed up, but we're beginning to see, hey, these are the races that we got to look for.
this last month of the season, which what makes September so exciting, once that art piece is getting created and you're starting to see the shapes and you're seeing, okay, this is what we're going to have to start watching, scoreboard watching, as if you're in a stadium, and the players and the coaches are looking at that scoreboard, knowing each score that is such a big implication, which just makes it so much more exciting that they can actually, because I think every stadium has a scoreboard, so they see it real time when that happens, and it's just like, okay, backs against the wall, and then it's like those players can know it too and feel it, and then like something amazing happens in those games, which just makes it even more exciting. But talking about the Dodgers, though, they are now 85-49, and they finished August with a 21-6 record. I mean, 21-6.
That is a ridiculous August. Absolutely ridiculous August.
I mean, 21 wins out of, and you don't play every day, so a couple days you subtract out. So really, they played 27 games, so they won 21-27. That is just unbelievable, and that's after a trade deadline too.
Who's the team you don't want to play in the postseason in the AL?
In the AL?
Right now, who's the team you don't want to play?
I had to say Tampa Bay Rays right now.
I completely agree. Even with the Yankees, going on their streak and doing what they did, the Rays have been just as good, haven't they?
Yeah. They, what was it, 11 or 12 game streak? And they still kept that 4-game lead. That's incredible to be able to just maybe not have that winning streak, but at least winning pretty much every other game. At least only having a couple losses here and there. At least going at least 7-3 in the last 10 or 8-2 in the last 10. So they have it going that they can keep up the pace, because they also had a 20-6 record. So they had one less win than the Dodgers in the month of August. So they had 20 wins as well, which just two teams to do that in a month is unbelievable.
Absolutely is. Absolutely is.
And a big factor to them is Wander Franco just going off. In the month of August, he hit 313 with a 382 on base, a 485 slugging, with 3 homers and 8 doubles in August.
Who was the last prospect to come up, be so highly touted, come up on one of the best teams in the league, and continue to be a big part in their success? It's absolutely crazy.
It is. And they had Willie Adames, who was probably one of the better prospects that coming up as well with the Rays. They're like, all right, we can just trade him off. We don't need him anymore because we got Wander now. And he's been a big piece for Milwaukee, who traded for him, and has been helping him as well. Because I think Brewers have always needed shortstop help, and having a young guy like that can be a staple for that organization, maybe a face of the franchise at some point going forward, depending on how much of an impact he makes. It's just nuts that they had that kind of farm system and still are competing like this because they're a small market, Tampa Bay, and they got the right formula.
Yeah. Our man Giggs pointed out that maybe Miguel Cabrera at the age of 19, coming up on to the Marlins and showing what he did, like that is the last time a team has someone who's come up and just helped their team be a legitimate World Series contender.
Totally agree with that. That's a great point. It's a great find, and because that Miggy helped him that year, man. That just so exciting to watch him.
It was huge. It was absolutely huge. And they were a wild card team because that was in the 14 straight division wins for the Braves.
That's right.
And it's crazy how the Marlins were able to win those 2 World Series that they did through wild cards.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Atlanta finished the month of August with an 18-8 record.
They needed to go on a run like that, and they were able to pull it off. However, they got to get back on it.
Yeah,
They lost to the Yankees, won a series against the Giants, and then got swept by the Dodgers. And they should have at least won one of those games. They could have won 2, but they should have at least won one of those games. And I'm kind of disappointed with this team right now, but they still have a 1.5 game lead as we're talking right now, going into Colorado, who has the second best record at home, only second to the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive seeing that stat. Being the Rockies, they're not that good of a team this year, but at home they're still. But they have a hitter's ballpark. But still, it don't matter because you have the best team coming in.
If you're not a good team, you're not a good team.
You're not a good team, and another team, a good team, comes in there and they're gonna mash it. So that is pretty impressive for Colorado to even have a winning record, one of the best home records probably in the league, if that's the case. Then, and also, but that's a good going into Coors Field is looking good for Atlanta as well because they hit 43 home runs last month, and Austin Riley had 6 of them, and Jorge Soler and Adam Duvall combined for 15 of them as well.
And Jorge Soler has already homered tonight.
That team right there, I still think won the deadline for sure. The moves they made.
You're saying that the Braves won the deadline. You're really saying that.
The way that it's changed the team, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean, I just need other people to say it. Because otherwise, it's the homer saying it.
Well, look at the guys that did it. Jorge Soler and Adam Duvall. They had 15 home runs last month combined. That's 2 of the trade pieces they got, and that's just.
And then they got your boy Rich Rod.
Yeah, and he's still not the closer.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't even use it like need a closer. They just have him. He's just been in high leverage situations.
Yeah.
To set up.
And it's crazy that they really didn't trade much.
Exactly.
To get what they need. And we're not even including Jock Peterson.
No, I was about to say Jock Peterson as well. He was included, but he's still. And the play he made that last Friday night, I watched that and it was incredible.
We're not even including Rosario, who homered the night before to tie up the game against Brusdar Graterol. I mean, the players, and now that's 3 outfielders that have come in and kind of balled out.
And imagine,
it's kind of crazy.
Imagine if they had
that's four outfielders that's come in and balled out.
And just imagine if they had Acuna, but they wouldn't be getting those other guys. Obviously, they wouldn't need to get that much. But hey, if they pull it off though and keep this,
they may have needed to get at like one guy.
Yes, of course.
Still, but like if they had Acuna, I don't know. But, I mean, it's just crazy to think about.
Now they can actually, in a way, this injury might be a good thing, as much as I hate to say that, because now they got those guys on the team, see the success and impact they've made, that they might keep them. And it might be an actual piece for the next couple of years on a short-term run that they could hold on to.
I think they'll keep one or two.
Yeah.
Because right now it doesn't look like Pache or Waters may be ready uh, next season. We're just not sure. We were hoping Pache was going to be ready this season, and he just didn't. He just didn't cut it out, and I don't think they're going to let him just go into spring training um, with the job in hand. He's going to have to win that. He's going to have to win that job.
I totally agree.
Oh, we got a raid from Wolf Daisy.
Daisy.
Welcome on in, Raiders. We're just
Welcome
talking
on
about
in.
some baseball here. Let's talk about the Dodgers.
All right. Let's do it.
Everybody has consistently thought that the Dodgers were the better team.
And here they are on top again.
They're finally on top. Are they the team to beat in the NL?
I still think yes. I just with the rotation too and adding Scherzer to that mix. I think he has like a hamstring issue that just came up, but I think he is not going to miss a start and he is going to be all right. But and they're doing this without Bauer too. But their lineup, and they even had a mediocre offense last month too. And as they've been winning games to overtake, so once they get hot, you don't want to. That's one lineup in the NL. That's the best lineup in the NL. You don't want to face them in the playoffs.
I mean, goodness gracious!
Top
the
to
fact
bottom,
that they were able to get Trey Turner, who is the NL leader in hits, at the deadline is absolutely ridiculous. Like, my goodness, they were already a daunting lineup. Their whole bench of 15 players, 14 or 15 players, you can play them all and they'd still be good.
It's insane.
It's just ridiculous.
And having depth is so huge, especially in playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And in this last stretch of the season, having depth, something happens, an injury, or just giving guys rest is such a huge factor.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think their worst player on their bench is Albert Pujols.
That is insane to think about.
And I'm not hating on Pujols in there. I'm saying, like, hey, Pujols has shown to be kind of decent.
I think he's better as a Dodger than he was as Angel.
Yeah,
at least the last 3 years.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's made more of an impact.
Mm-hmm. It's just absolutely crazy. But I still think it's the Dodgers. The Braves were able to win a series at home against them. They did play well against them, but their bullpen kind of fell apart. But it's going to be interesting to see. And the Braves need to wake up and win some games because the Phillies have won 6 straight.
Yeah. Hey, remember what I said? Who was one of my wild card picks? Do you remember?
The Phillies.
Yeah.
However, the Reds are still red hot.
Yeah, I know, but I did say I just said the Phillies are another team. They're another team that I could see doing it.
Credit.
But I mean, the Reds are red hot, but
what happened there?
I just think the Phillies are a good enough team that can this last stretch.
Yeah.
They can do it.
Yeah. All right. Goodness gracious, man. We're at a good place. We got to get into our picks of the week, man.
Oh, a heater, baby. Still on that heater.
So I of course I got to go over the last picks of the week. So 2 games that we had were the Braves versus the Yankees, and then we also had the Wolves versus the Spurs and the Premier League. The Spurs and the Yankees won. That puts you to 5-4 on the year, and that puts me to 4-5 on the year.
And what did I start at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, man, you started 1-4 and then have won 4 straight, man. You're on a heater.
Straight up heater, going right into the football season. Can't wait. It's gonna be a great one.
All right, so the first game that we're going to pick is Penn State versus Wisconsin. We got the 19th ranked Penn State versus the 12th ranked Wisconsin in a big matchup of the Big Ten. Who do you got?
Well, if Venom, our college football expert, is saying that much good things about Wisconsin, I got to go with Wisconsin because I was
You
kind
know
of
what? I'm going with Wisconsin too
okay.
because I don't know what Penn State has this season.
Same.
I just don't. So it would be bad to look at that. Now, the Sunday night game is the Dodgers versus the Giants.
Ooh.
We have Walker Buehler, potential Cy Young guy, against an undecided pitcher.
Oh,
Who do you got there?
an undecided pitcher. That really shakes things up.
It does.
Well, in that case, I got to go Dodgers.
You got to go Dodgers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Giants.
Oh.
Um, they've been fighting the Dodgers pretty strongly. So, that's honestly a toss up. I don't think you could go wrong either way.
I was gonna say Giants if it was like Gosman or like they're like one of the top couple in their rotation,
Yeah.
but not knowing, at this moment I gotta go Dodgers.
Uh-huh. I think Gossman will actually miss this series.
Really? Oof. That kinda hurts him.
If my calculations are correct. But I'm not completely sure.
That's gonna hurt him then.
But we shall see. All right, we don't have any Twitch clip of the week this week. We have a lot of sports to look forward to. We have a lot to get into next week as well, because next week we are going to have our NFL preview show.
That's right.
And that's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, you can always find Slip in a Man on Spotify. You can find them on Apple Podcasts. You can find them on Stitcher Radio. Soon to be, we're going to be on Amazon Podcasts. And this has been a lot of fun.
Wait! Breaking news. We do have a Twitch clip of the week.
We have a Twitch. Okay. All right. Let's see it. All right.
This week, it was an exciting one. It actually just happened.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's see
man.
it.
It was West Virginia. All right, let's hear it.
Because
I spelled vagina. Oops.
Oops. Wow, that is great.
Oh my goodness.
What? I didn't know they.
They're like, nah, Slit. Slit, you can't say that. You can't. I just say that. I honestly, I was trying to hate on West Virginia, and I'm like, damn, why did I? Why isn't this work? What did I do? Oh,
oops. That's the best part of that. Just oops. You just know, you done goofed.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. That's crazy. But once again, man, it's been a lot of fun this week.
Sure has.
We hope to see y'all next week for the NFL preview show. Look early next week.
See you then.
Slip.
Don't slip.